everyone. Welcome back to another segment of Fun and Games. I am Michelle Stone.
I'm Jenna Rose.
We are with the Underground Music Collective. You guys, today we are joined by a very special guest. So before I let him introduce himself, I want to give you a little backstory. I went to Buffalo Exchange, a clothing store here in Nashville. I was literally going there one morning to find an outfit for something that I was doing. And I met this man who was in line in front of me, and I think we both just felt the energy. And he turned around and just started talking to me. And now, fast forward a few months, and we're gonna be putting together a huge showcase together. And so, huge blessings. But without further ado, introduce yourself, Mr. Chuck, and let people know who you are.
Hello, people. My name is Chuck Harmony. I'm a songwriter, singer, producer, all that good stuff, but I'm just a man. You know what I'm saying? I'm a troubadour.
Chuck's being incredibly he's not even giving himself all of the credits that he deserves. He does so much. He works with so many great people, and he's just overall like an incredible musician.
Thank you.
And I feel spiritually that we were supposed to meet, and we've talked about this a few times. But yeah, so today we're gonna play a very cool game with Chuck. Me and Jenna talked about it, and this is something I think Jenna is gonna really love because she loves to get deep and like emotional and really get into the pit of everything. It's called What's It Mean to You? So ideally I want to, give Chuck a word and him just tell me like kind of like what it means to him. And if you're watching this and it resonates with you, please let us know and tell us what it means to you too. So Chuck, before we start the game, how about you tell everybody a little bit about like kind of what you do and like, who Chuck is, a little background, where you're
Well,
from, everything like that.
I'm from a little city called East St. Louis, Illinois. I don't know. Most people get it confused with St. Louis. But St. Louis is Missouri. I'm from the Illinois side, and
Oh.
I fell in love with music when I was like 2 years old, and so I've been chasing that dream since I can remember. You know, so it took me to college. I went to college on a full paid tuba scholarship.
What?
Wow.
Yeah,
That's cool.
so weird, so random. How that happened was because I'm from East St. Louis. They consider it the hood, and so I had a music teacher that just saw something in me. I hadn't picked up an instrument or anything, but when I was in fourth grade, um, in music class, my teachers told us to all pick an instrument, and of course, all the guys went to the drums because that's what guys want to beat on things. You know what I'm saying? And so he pulled me to the side. He was like, "No, take this thing," and it was a tuba. And he was like, "If you learn this tuba, it'll get you out the hood." And literally, the tuba got me out the hood.
Oh my god.
Wow.
But he saw that in me in the fourth grade, and I don't know why. It was not like I was showing any promise that any other student was doing it. So it was a real spiritual thing to me. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of how your path is laid out for you if you just follow it. So that led me to Alabama State, where I majored in music education, and it was there that I realized that I didn't want to be a tuba player for the rest of my life, and so I fell in love with the piano, and I just sat down and started playing by ear, and the jazz conductor for the jazz symphony at Alabama State heard me play, and he was like, "Man, I didn't know we had another jazz piano player on campus. Like, who you've been studying with?" I was like, no, "Nobody. I'm just learning how to play." And he was like, "Who do you listen to as far as jazz?" And I was like, "Nobody. I don't really listen to jazz. It's just how I interpreted those 88 keys." And so he gave me a full paid scholarship for a jazz piano the semester after I got there. And so from there, I just been at that point. I knew I should just follow my heart, and so that's what I've been doing. It's taken me some crazy, 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 crazy places.
I feel like you were a female jazz player in a past life, and I say female because you give off like you're obviously a man. You're a beautiful man, but you give off very feminine energy.
Mm.
And I think when I met you the first time too, that was something I sensed. Like you're so in because like you're so in touch with your divine, like, feminine. And like the thing about male and female that a lot of people don't realize is their energies, right? When
Yep.
like you think of God as male or female, it's merely the feminine or divine energy. It's not the gender of it. It's the feel of the feminine energy and the masculine energy. And we all know there's a huge difference between those two.
Yeah.
And I feel like you really encompass the masculine, but you encompass the feminine in your music so well. Like,
It's so crazy that you said that. And I wish I had my iPad because that's where I do my jotting down. But I wrote something down like maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago, and I'm paraphrasing because I don't remember exactly how I said it. I said it much cooler, but it was to the fact that as a straight man, it takes a lot of femininity to be Chuck Harmony. I literally just that was just something that I woke up because I meditate in the morning, and that's what I jotted down for no apparent reason. But I just what you're saying, I feel that on it. I feel it. It takes a as a straight man, it takes a lot of femininity to be me.
to encompass,
And
like,
that's
who you
something
are.
that's like really, really special to have, I think, especially as a musician, because people relate so deeply to music. And so being able to encompass both the feminine and the masculine
Yeah.
side of that means that you're able to touch people in totally different ways,
Yeah.
you know, and a much broader spectrum of
Yeah.
people.
And a lot of times people are unable to get to that side because they like to shun the part of them that they're uncomfortable
Well, yeah,
with.
because we start associating genders with items, right? We think, oh, well, you're a boy, so that means you like cars, and you're a girl, so that means you like dolls.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
so when we start associating items with energy, we're just messing it all up,
We
because
are.
energies have nothing to do with the items you like. You can embody the divine masculine and still love to dress like a woman.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and like I feel like through my journey, something, and I saw somebody put it this way, which I'm like you, I don't have it in front of me, so it doesn't sound as cool, but I had a friend of mine put it in a beautiful way. She was like, I had to truly discover my masculine energy to like become the feminine. And that's how I was.
Yeah.
Like my whole life has been surviving. That's pretty much my childhood. You know, Jenna knows a little bit about it, and you'll know more about me, but my whole childhood I had to survive, you know, and so I had to become the masculine version of myself so I could really survive that, because I'm in a man's world.
Mm.
And it took me a long time to realize like owning that masculine energy is what truly made me embark on my divine feminine.
Yeah, man.
And that's when I discovered my divine feminine, only by accepting that I do have a divine masculine.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like that kind of like you were talking about, when people get confused, it's like, I feel like it's when people put genders on things. You hear people talking about a heartbreak song and someone's like, that's so girly. And you're like, bro, what's girly about?
Yeah.
What's girly about that?
And I think especially for musicians that you have to feel for the consumer. Like you have to feel what they're feeling. You have to experience in your spirituality and in your emotions what they're feeling and experiencing. And so that is not a gender thing. You know what I'm saying? That's a life is not really a gender thing to me. It's more that if we're all of the same, then we have different levels of both in us.
Everybody has both, and
Yeah.
not everyone, like you were saying, not everyone is comfortable with both sides.
Yeah.
But if you're able to touch both sides, you know, through your music, then people can kind of get in touch with the side that they're not comfortable with
Yeah.
through your message of your music. You know, through relating to it, it kind of can allow a passageway into that other side that people may not be comfortable with on both sides, because you're able to embody both like that.
And with
So
your,
true.
your musical work and stuff too, so I know we kind of discussed, and obviously you can give as much as you want. You don't have to give too much, because I know there's a lot of big things that Chuck's working on that like we want to keep on lockdown. Because the thing about when you're working on stuff, and we both know this, when you talk about it and you put it out there, you already give it corruption. You give it the idea to be corrupted. Like with me, anything that I have that I'm working on, I've been trying my best to not talk about it, because I'm like, dude, the more I talk about this, the worse it gets. It's almost like once you put it into the universe, the energies are like,
Yeah.
we see it now.
Yeah.
So without, divulging too much, like kind of let everybody know a little bit about what you've been doing lately, like music wise, and like what's Chuck been up to.
Well, Um,
What's good, Chuck?
what's good, Chuck? In 2015, I really got burnt out doing music. You know what I'm saying? I had been on this journey for a long time, and like I said, it took me some crazy places. And so I wanted to quit music and go to seminary. And so I was explaining that to my best friend and now business partner Claude Kelly that yeah I'm just I think I'm gonna quit and go to seminary. And he was like, yo man, I'm think I'm gonna quit and study world religion. And it's just a random Saturday. We had never talked about spirituality at all. We were really, I mean, we worked a lot together. We did some big projects together, but it was literally like we would write the song, have a few laughs, and go our separate ways. So the synergy in where we were headed, if this thing that we love so much is not serving us no more, was like I want to get in touch with the innermost part of myself,
Tell
which
him the call.
yeah. So it was really rewarding to find somebody that had that same kind of energy. And so from that conversation, we started talking about all these what ifs, like what ifs and what's next for you, for me, and for music and the whole thing. And so we decided to start a company together to just somewhere to house our dreams so that we wouldn't let them die. And so we started this company called Weirdo Workshop. And for the last 5 or 6 years, like we've been in a steady grind of just not just putting out music, but finding a way for musicians like myself to circumvent all of the traps that come with chasing popularity and chasing fame as it relates to music and get to the heart of the matter of why people really do music. Like why when I fell in love with music, I had no idea you can make money from music. You know what I'm saying? Even when how I started producing was I actually wanted to be a jazz piano player, and I used to make these little tracks so I can do my jazz improvisation over. And this guy who was a rapper came and heard this thing that these compositions that I was doing, and he's like, what is this music that you're doing?" I'm like, "No, I'm just enhancing my jazz piano skills." And so he was like, "Yo, this could be a song." And so he started rapping over them, and he started sending them to rappers, and that's how I got my first placement. I didn't know what a producer was. I didn't know what the music business was per se as it relates to me because I just wanted to be a jazz piano player. So all of that stuff just it kind of just happened.
Manifested
It
itself.
manifested itself, and so fast forward back to the conversations that me and Claude was having, and why we started Weirdo Workshop, and why we started our band Lewis York, and why we started a girl group called the Shindellas. It was more about finding a way for musicians to express themselves and also express themselves fully, because I've been in the music business since 2006, and I've had success on all the different levels, but it is really a rare gem when you get to express yourself fully. You know, like for most of the records that I have that I've made money from or people know me for, I felt handicapped. I didn't feel like I could give my all to the record because it's you're fitting in the box of a genre, you fit in the box of whatever the artist is. You like it's all of these boxes that leads to this thing.
And it's almost like a me and Jenna have talked about this so much. It's almost like a pressure. That's why I hate genres.
Yeah.
I hate when people are like, "Well, what genre?" It's like immediately you kind of admit to, okay, well, I'm this, and it's like, what if I don't want to be what everyone else is? What
Yeah.
if I want to not do anything like anyone else has ever done it?
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm finally comfortably in a position where I can do that because I mean, you can already tell we're so much alike. Like,
Yeah.
I came into the industry and in this as well as the same way of like, I don't know what I fit into. I don't think I fit into anything.
Mm-hmm.
And I realize I'm like, dude, you don't have to fit in.
You don't have
like
to fit
that's
in.
just something that people tell you,
Yeah.
but you don't have to fit in.
Mm-hmm.
You can start doing things exactly the way you want to do them, and maybe no one did it that way. And guess what? That's okay because everything that's ever been done was once a way that no one did it.
Yep.
And then people were like, oh, I guess he's doing that way. I guess we're doing it that way.
That's literally why we named our company Weirdo Workshop.
Weirdos for life.
Weirdos for life. Weirdo literally for that, for in this instance, it means that you accept the fact that you're different, and you lean into that part of you that makes you different, not shun away from it, or not try to conform to the crowd, but lean into it
You accept it.
and accept it. And the workshop means you're working on yourself every day. Like every day you should be trying to get better. Every day you should try to be stronger.
Chuck, you remind me of my divinity every time I talk to you. You know, and I told Jenna, like, we've had I have this thing that I'm talking about. I'm like, dude, I used to be like, dude, I'm such a weirdo. Like, I remember being like, man, I'm such a weirdo. Like, especially back in high school, I was like, I'm so weird. I'm so
Me too.
different. And then now I'm like, I'm a fucking weirdo, bro.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm
I'm
king-
so different.
I'm king weirdo.
I'm so different from you, motherfucker.
When I was little, people laugh about it, but when I was little, like I said, I grew up in the hood. But I insisted on wearing a full suit to school every day. From the time I started kindergarten until the time I was in junior high school, every day I wore a suit,
You know,
no matter what.
Harris. Have you seen How I Met Your Mother? Where he
No.
wears, oh my gosh, he wears a suit every. That's like
Yeah,
the thing is a suit.
But it was so crazy coming being in the hood and just all the gang violence that was around, and that was just my shtick. Like I knew that's how I wanted to present myself.
That took a lot, probably, because in a situation like that, I would imagine that you kind of tend to want to blend in so that you're not standing
Yeah.
out. You're not somebody that people are gonna notice.
Yeah.
And, and pick out of a crowd. You want to kind of disappear.
Yeah.
I would imagine for your own survival.
Yeah. And it was hard, you know what I'm saying? Because people pick on the weird
Right.
kids in that
Yeah.
in that
Oh, yeah,
scenario,
yeah.
you know. And
Yeah,
so
I got picked on all the time for being like just saying strange stuff and being a stranger and being. I feel like too that's what drawn us to each other
yeah.
because I'm
I bought
the same boat
I
as
bought these glasses that day. That's what I was in there
you. Did
looking
you
for something.
really?
We because it's right
Love it.
next to Exit In, and we had a performance.
That's the performance you asked me about.
That's
Yeah,
that's what I turned to
that's it.
say. Like, yo, we playing at Exit In tonight. You want to
Yeah.
come to the show?
And I remember the whole time I saw you too. Like I was like, man, he has cool pants on. I love him seeing him. And like I remember I was like, because like I love like people that aren't afraid to stand out because that's the kind of person that I've always been is just going out and being whoever the hell you want to be.
Right,
Especially
right.
after you realize that being a weirdo is like something that you could. Because me and you, I feel like you had the same like realization where you were like, dude, being a weirdo is like this is my fucking superpower.
Yeah, it's
Like
your
I'm
superpower.
strange and I'm different and
Yeah.
like no one can ever be me. Literally, you can't replace me because there's not another me.
Right.
And like I feel like you had that same realization. I feel like we're sitting in a room right now just talking, and I forgot there was a camera. But so our producer just let me know that we have a few minutes left. So I do want to ask because we're here for what's it mean to you. I have a very 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 special word that Chuck. I'm curious to
Okay.
see. What
Wait,
is
we
love?
haven't described the game yet.
Oh, we haven't described the game. No, I think did I describe in the beginning? Maybe if I
The-
didn't. So
the-
if I didn't
there's-
describe the game in the beginning, basically what we're gonna do is we're gonna give Chuck a word or the artist, whoever it is. But at this point, it's Chuck. We're gonna give him a word and just he's gonna tell us what it means to him. You know, really what this game is about is taking a word because every word has meaning. So I looked up meaningful words, and then when I realized what I was looking up, I was like, well, every word has meaning. So technically, every word is a meaningful word.
Mm,
I was like, but what words really hit you
mm.
that you're like, this has a special meaning to me compared to others? So that's the idea of this game. And the word I want to give to you, Chuck, is love. I want to know what love means to you. Think about it as much as you want.
When I think about love, it's funny that you should ask that because somebody asked me recently, had I ever been in love, and I told them no. Because when I think about love, I think about my mother, and that kind of love hasn't been duplicated in my life. You know what I'm saying? Because love is unconditional. You know what I'm saying? And most people, when they talk about love, they talk about it from a conditional standpoint. Like, I love this person because of what they are to me or because of how they make me feel. And love is more unconditional than that. You know what I'm saying? And so the only time that I've really experienced that is that with my mom, you know what I'm saying? Come And I know she's biased because I came out of her, but that's what love. When I think of the word love, I instantly go to my mom. And it's not because I'm a mama's boy. It's because that's just the purest form that I've experienced in this life.
I have to ask you, to talk on that? Gosh, we could go for probably like 2 hours, but we don't have the time. Do you think there's different levels of love? Like, cause I know, cause personally, like I'm in the boat where like I grew up like I grew up in the ghetto too. I grew up with a very hard childhood, but I don't have a mom,
Mm,
so I've never known maternal love.
mm,
But I have known other levels of love. Like
yeah,
I love Jenna.
yeah,
She's one of my best friends. I love her. No matter what agreements, disagreements, whatever we have, like I would jump in front of a bullet to save this woman. I
yeah.
love her.
We have a really special bond. I would also say that, like, for me, my experience with love is I have been in love romantically a few times, but I also say often that I feel like I am in love with so many of my friends.
Mm,
And it's different for every one of them, but I don't feel like saying it any other way gives enough impact.
yeah, yeah.
I truly feel that I am absolutely head over heels in love with so many of my
Mm-hmm.
friends that that are the closest
Yeah.
people that I
Yeah.
know.
So what about you? Like, would you say like there's a different like for your mom? Maybe it's like a maternal love, which, and I'm trying to understand in a way like if I had that same feeling,
Mm,
if I had a mother, I felt that way. I imagine it would be like a maternal, instinctful, parental love. Because we all have different journeys. So me, I can't personally relate to that.
yeah.
But you, like, do you feel there's a different level of love, like maybe for your friends or people that are close to you?
I mean, I don't know for sure, but I've always considered love as absolute. And what I mean by that is that a lot of times when people think of love, they think about the opposite as hate. But I don't think love and hate are opposites. I think like and hate are opposites.
Mm.
Opposites. I think love is just its own thing. It's absolute. It's almost like truth.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's just absolute. And so because of that, I think based on the relationship that you have with the person, you can label it a thing, but the thing that you're professing is the same thing, love. You know what I'm saying? It's just like y'all's love and my love with my mom. Maybe the only reason why it's as strong is because I've known her longer than y'all have known each other.
Yeah.
So, but love is love to
Love
me.
is love is equal. Someone once told me a really good quote about love, and they said, "Love is putting your needs of someone else before your own."
Mm,
Meaning, if you really love someone, if they need something before you would put it before your own.
yeah,
So I feel like in that term, really, that encompasses all love.
yeah,
Because especially with friends or whoever it is, like business wise, for example, for me and Jenna, like maybe there's some choices that she might want over mine. I might put that before me because I love her.
yeah.
And because I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna put that before me.
Well, love is selfless like that.
It's selfless.
Oh.
It's a selfless feeling.
That's why it can be conditional because it's selfless.
You're so right. You're so right. Gosh, Chuck. Okay, so we don't have enough time to keep continuing. We didn't get to fully play our game, but I expected that when we had Chuck in the building. Always a strong spiritual connection with him. Me and him have had a few lifetimes together. I feel a few dances that we've gone through. But all right, guys. So Chuck, where can they find you on social media?
You can find me at Lewis York Music. That's my band, or you can find me personally at Chuck Harmony, and you can find everything at WeirdoWorkshop.com.
And if you're a weirdo and you feel the call, if you're watching this right now and you're like, oh my God, I resonate with that so hard.
Yeah,
Weirdos are welcome here. We
weirdos
like all of
are
the
welcome.
weirdos.
And if I can plug my show, can I plug my show?
Absolutely.
You better.
November the 12th at Franklin Theater, Lewis York and the Shindellas will be in concert. Concert is called Together Again. And anybody that's been to a Shindellas or Lewis York concert know how we do. We get down. You know what I'm saying? So come support. I think you should support all artists because artists need support, but definitely support us and what we're doing. We're trying to do the right thing.
And he's a real one, guys. Like, I'm not even kidding. I met this man at a clothing store, and he is who he says he is. So yeah, guys, we're the Underground Music Collective. I'm Michelle Stone.
I'm Jenna Rose.
And we are so happy that you guys could join us again. This will be our last official old Fun and Games. We're going to be ramping Fun and Games coming soon to you guys, so be prepared for the new edition. You guys are going to be so excited. But till then, we will see you next time.